If you have any Aries placements, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn, this is one of those moments in time where the universe is not being subtle with you. It's not whispering, it's not hinting, it's actually speaking directly, loudly, and very intentionally. April 2026 is a rare kind of cosmic buildup where multiple planets, the Sun, Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, and even the new moon are all gathering in Aries, your territory. And when that happens, it's not random, it's actually a reset point. Now, let's be real here for a second. Aries energy is already intense on its own. It's bold, it's impulsive, fast moving, and deeply instinctual. It doesn't like to wait. It doesn't like to overthink, and it definitely doesn't like to be told what to do. Aries is the part of us that says, I am going for it, before we even fully understand what the thing is. So, when you already carry this energy in your chart, you're used to operating from that fire. You're used to being the initiator, the one who starts things, the one who moves first. But this April, this energy is not about just moving fast, it's about moving with purpose. Because Saturn is involved and Saturn doesn't like to play games. Saturn slows things down, tests your decisions, and asks you to prove that you're serious about the life that you say that you want. At the same time, Neptune is here, which can blur lines, heighten intuition, and sometimes create confusion or illusion. Then you add Mars to this mix, which is your ruling planet, amplifying drive, anger, passion, urgency. Mercury brings mental activity, communication, and decision making into Aries. The Sun also lights everything up, making it impossible to ignore. And the new moon that we're gonna have, that's a fresh start, a new chapter, a moment where everything in your life is about to begin again, but differently this time. So, what does this actually feel like? For many of you, it's going to feel like pressure. Not necessarily bad pressure, but the kind that forces you to act. You might feel restless, like you can't stay where you are anymore. You might feel this internal push to change something, your direction, your identity, your habits, your goals. But at the same time, you could feel unsure about how to do it or where it's all leading. That's the Saturn Neptune dynamic. One part of you wants clarity and structure, while another part is navigating uncertainty and intuition. And if you're not used to sitting with that kind of tension, it can feel very frustrating. Because Aries energy wants immediate answers, it wants to act now and figure it out later. But this energy is asking you to pause just enough to become intentional before you move. Not to stop your fire, but to refine it. This is where a lot of Aries placements can accidentally work against themselves. When things feel intense or unclear, the instinct might be to push harder, to act faster, to force a result. But that's exactly what this energy is challenging you to outgrow. This is not about reacting. It's about responding with awareness. Think of it like this: you're being given a surge of energy, motivation, and opportunity, but also a responsibility to use it wisely. Some of you are going to feel called to start something new, a new path, a new version of yourself, a new way of showing up in the world. And that's beautiful. But the question this energy is asking you is, are you building something sustainable, or are you just chasing a moment of excitement? Others might feel like they're being confronted with their own patterns: impulsiveness, impatience, acting before thinking, starting things and not finishing them. This is not about judgment, it's about awareness. Because you can't elevate your energy if you're not willing to see where it's been misdirected. And then there's the emotional side of this, especially for those of you with Aries Moon or Venus placements. You might feel more reactive, more sensitive, or quicker to frustration than usual. Situations that normally wouldn't bother you might suddenly feel a little more personal. That's because this energy is activating your sense of self, your identity, your desires, your boundaries. It's showing you where you need to stand up for yourself, but also where you might be acting from ego rather than truth. So, here are three quick tips on what to do with all this energy. First of all, my dear Aries placements, you slow down just enough to check in with yourself before you act. Not to overthink, but to align. Ask yourself, is this coming from clarity or is this coming from an impulse? That one question alone can change everything. Secondly, you commit to something. Saturn rewards consistency, not just passion. It's not enough to feel motivated for a moment. You have to show up for what you start, even when it's not exciting anymore, even when it feels hard. That's where the real growth actually happens. Third, you allow space for uncertainty without letting it paralyze you. Neptune is going to bring moments where things don't feel fully clear, and that's okay. You don't need to have every answer right now. You just need to trust your next step. And finally, you work with your fire instead of letting it control you. Your drive, your courage, your willingness to take risks, that's your gift. But when it's ungrounded, it can lead to burnout, conflict, or decisions that you may regret later. This is your opportunity to mature that energy, to turn it into something powerful and intentional. April 2026 is not here to overwhelm you, it's here to initiate you. It's asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Aries energy, one that still moves boldly, but with one direction. One that still takes risk, but with awareness. One that still leads, but from a place of purpose instead of reaction. So, if you've been feeling this buildup, if you've been sensing that something is about to shift, you're not imagining it. This is your moment, not to rush blindly into something, but to consciously choose who you're going to be becoming next. And that choice of yours, that's where the real power is. My dear Astro family, I'm going to start to break down how this energy can manifest and feel for each Aries placement. Remember that I am offering readings at the moment, so if you want me to take a look at your personal chart to see how these transits are affecting you, you can always go to the description box and go to my website, look at all the services that I'm offering right now. But please also share with me in the comments how things are going in your life. I am very, very curious to see and know how things are going for you, and also list your placement. So if you have, let's say, Venus in Aries, please let us know that you have that placement, and then share with us what kind of experience you're having right now. For me, I do have my Venus in Aries in the last degrees of Aries. So it is going to probably bring me a huge relationship reset, which I'm anticipating and really hoping for. But I also have progressed planets here in the sign of Aries. I have about 4 or 5, I can't even remember now. So it's also coming with new beginning in my life, and I'm very excited for that. But that's just my experience. I really want to know how things are also going for you, so please comment down below, and then if you want, you can like, subscribe, share this video, hype it up. It really helps me in my channel. I wish you the best of luck, and now let's start with the different placements. If you have your ascendant in Aries, this period right now is one of those moments where life is meeting you face to face, and there's no way to avoid it. April 2026 is not just another transit for you. It's personal, it's visible, and it's happening right on the surface of your life. Because when Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon all move through the sign of Aries, they're not just activating your chart in a simple way, they're moving through your first house, which is actually your identity, your body, your presence, and the way you show up in the world. This is you. This is how other people see you, how you initiate things, how you approach life, how you carry yourself. So when all of this energy gathers here, it's not something you can internalize quietly. It's something that shows. It's something that you embody. When it comes to your kind of energy, you are naturally someone who leads with action. You don't wait around for life to come to you, you meet it head on. There's a directness to your presence, a boldness, a sense that you're always moving towards something. People feel that about you, whether you realize that or not. You come across as strong, decisive, independent, even when you're unsure internally. Externally, there's a sense that you're in motion, that you're figuring it out as you go. You're not meant to sit still. You're meant to initiate. But here's the thing about Aries rising. Because you're always in motion, sometimes you don't stop to ask yourself where you're actually going. Sometimes it's just about the next step, the next move, the next action. And over time, that can create a version of you that's constantly reacting instead of consciously choosing. And this April, this energy is asking you to become intentional about who you are. Because Saturn is here and Saturn is not subtle. Saturn is asking you to take responsibility for how you show up, for your identity, for your actions, for the way you carry yourself in the world. It's asking you, are you showing up as the person you actually want to be, or are you just reacting to what's in front of you? Saturn wants structure. It wants consistency. It wants you to build a version of yourself that is grounded, reliable, and real, not just fast moving. At the same time, Neptune is here. Don't forget. And Neptune can blur your sense of identity. You might feel moments where you're not entirely sure who you are becoming. You might feel like you're shedding an old version of yourself, but not fully clear on what's replacing it yet. That can feel disorienting, especially for someone who is used to moving forward with a lot of confidence. When you add the transiting Mars also, which is your ruling planet, amplifying your energy here, your drive, your urgency to act, Mercury is also transiting here, bringing constant thoughts about your direction, your identity, your next steps, and then the Sun lights everything up, putting you in the spotlight whether you want it or not. We also have the new moon here this month in April, which is a reset in who you are and how you show up. So, what can this energy feel like for you? For a lot of you, my dear Aries risings, it's going to feel like a push to reinvent yourself, like the version of you that you've been embodying is no longer enough. You might feel restless, like you need to change something about your life, your appearance, your direction, your approach. You might also feel more visible than usual, like people are noticing you more, responding to you more, or even challenging you more directly. Situations might arise where you have to assert yourself, where you have to take the lead, where you have to make the decisions that define who you are. At the same time, you might feel moments of uncertainty, questioning whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're moving in the right direction, whether you're fully aligned with the person you're trying to become. And all this tension, that's the work. Because this energy here is not here to confuse you, it's actually here to refine you. You're being asked to slow down just enough to become aware of who you're showing up and how you're showing up. Not to stop moving, but to start moving with intention. To recognize that your actions are actually shaping your entire identity in real time. This is where your power is. You're not being asked to become someone that's completely different. You're being asked to become a more conscious version of yourself. You might also notice patterns in how you approach life. Do you rush into things? Do you react quickly without thinking? Do you take on more time than you can actually sustain? Again, this isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Because once you see it, you can actually change it. And that change is everything. This is also a powerful time for stepping into leadership, but not just in a reactive way, in a grounded, intentional way. Leading yourself first, deciding who you are, what you stand for, and how you want to move through the world. So, what do you do with all of this? First, you get clear on your identity, not just who you've been, but who you are becoming. Ask yourself, is this version of me that I want to build long term? Secondly, you take responsibility for your actions. Saturn here is asking you to be consistent, to follow through, to show up in a way that aligns with your goals, to love yourself, to build the right boundaries, to not give more than you are receiving. Third, it is important to also allow space for uncertainty. Neptune, again, is part of this process, and it's okay if you don't have everything figured out yet. You're evolving, and that does take some time. Now, finally, it is important to move forward, but with intention. Not rushing, not reacting, but choosing your actions in a way that supports the future that you're creating. April 2026, my dear Aries Risings, is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your sign. One that still moves forward, still initiates, still takes risks, but also knows who it is, where it's going, and why. So, if you feel the pressure to change, if you feel more visible, if you feel like you're being pushed to step into something new, it's definitely not random. This is your identity shifting in real time. And the way you choose to show up now, that's what defines how the world sees you, and more importantly, how you see yourself moving forward. My dear Aries risings, if you want to take a look at your personal chart under this very intense energy, I am offering readings. You can take a look at my website. The link is in the description box below. Look at all my services and see if you want to have some sort of reading together. I really hope and pray that you're going to receive wonderful blessings during this time, that you're going to have experiences that are going to be liberating and life changing for you. This is going to be a very powerful month. And I'm also curious to see how are these things actually reflecting for you. So please comment down below. You know I always read your comments. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. If you have your moon in Aries, this is one of those moments where life is speaking directly to your emotional world, loudly, clearly, and in a way that is impossible to ignore. April 2026 isn't just another transit for you, it's deeply personal because when these many planets, Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon, are all moving through Aries, they're activating your moon. And your moon is your inner world, your emotions, your instincts, your reactions, your sense of safety, your needs. This is you at your core. So, this isn't surface level energy. This is something you feel. Now, let's be real about Aries moon energy. You're someone who feels things fast and intensely. Your emotions don't sit quietly in the background. They move through you quickly, sometimes all at once, and they demand expression. You're not here to suppress what you feel. You're here to experience it, act on it, and move through it. There's a raw honesty to your emotional nature. When you're happy, it shows. When you're upset, it shows. There's no pretending with you, and that's a strength that you have. But it also means that when something triggers you, it can feel immediate. There's not always a pause between feeling and reacting, and that's exactly where this April energy is working on you. Because this isn't just about intensity, it's actually about emotional revolution. Saturn is here, and Saturn is asking you to take responsibility for your emotional responses. Not to shut them down, not to suppress them, but to understand them. To slow down just enough to recognize what you're feeling before you actually act on it. Saturn wants maturity. It wants consistency. It wants you to build emotional stability, not just to ride emotional waves. At the same time, Neptune is in the mix, and Neptune can make things feel unclear, overwhelming, or even confusing. You might find yourself feeling emotions that don't fully make sense, or reacting to situations in ways that surprise you. There can be moments where your boundaries feel blurred, where you're not sure if what you're feeling is coming from you, from someone else, or from something deeper that hasn't been processed yet. Then you add Mars, your moon's ruler, amplifying everything. This can heighten emotional reactivity, impatience, frustration, and even anger if something feels blocked or misunderstood. Mercury brings constant mental processing, making you think about what you're feeling, replay conversations, or feel the urge to express yourself immediately. The sun illuminates everything, making your emotional patterns impossible to ignore. And the new moon? That's a reset point for your emotional life, a chance to start again, but differently. So, what can this energy actually feel like for you? It can feel like your emotions are a little louder than usual, more urgent, more demanding. You might feel like you can't ignore what you've been pushing aside anymore. Things that you thought you moved past might resurface here. Situations that you tolerated before, they might suddenly feel unacceptable. There's a strong pull towards change, not just externally, but internally. For some of you, this can show up as a frustration, feeling like people aren't understanding you or like you're being held back in one way or another. For others, it might feel like emotional exhaustion, like you're tired of reacting the same way, tired of repeating patterns, tired of feeling like your emotions are running ahead of you. And here's the truth, my dear Aries moons. This energy is not here to punish you. It's here to show you where you already need to grow, where you are ready to grow. Because having an Aries moon doesn't mean you're meant to stay reactive. It means you're meant to develop emotional courage, the courage to feel deeply, but also the courage to pause. The courage to express yourself, but also the discipline to choose how and when you do it. This is where a lot of work is happening. You're being asked to create space between your feeling and your reaction. Even if it's just a few seconds, even if it's just one deep breath before you respond instead of react. That small shift changes everything because it puts you back in control of your energy. You're also being asked to get honest about what you actually need. Aries moon energy can sometimes act tough, independent, like I've got this, I don't need anyone. But underneath that, there are real emotional needs: connection, understanding, support, freedom. And if those needs aren't being acknowledged, they can come out as frustration or impulsive reactions. This April, you don't get to ignore that anymore. You might find yourself setting boundaries more directly than usual, speaking up about things you've been holding in, walking away from situations that drain you, or even realizing that some of your reactions have been coming from old patterns, not your current reality. And that realization right there, that's powerful because it means you have a choice. You can keep reacting the same way you always have, or you can start responding from a more grounded, aware version of yourself. So, my dear Aries moons, what do you do with this energy? First, you give yourself permission to feel everything, but you don't let every feeling dictate your actions. Emotions are information, not instructions. Just because you feel something strongly doesn't mean you have to act on it immediately. Second, you build emotional discipline. Not by suppressing yourself, but by practicing awareness, noticing your triggers, noticing your patterns, noticing where you are about to react, and choosing a different approach. Lastly, you might move your energy now in healthy ways. Aries energy needs an outlet. If you're holding everything in, it's going to come out in ways that feel explosive or overwhelming. Remember, physical movement, creative expression, even just getting out of your environment for a moment can really help you process what you're feeling without projecting it into other people. My dear Aries moons, trust that this intensity has a purpose. This isn't random. It's an emotional reset, a chance to redefine how you show up in your own life, how you handle conflict, how you express your needs, how you protect your energy. April 2026 is asking you to grow into a more evolved version of your Aries moon. One that still feels deeply, still moves instinctively, still lives with passion, but also knows how to ground itself, how to choose its battles, how to respond instead of react. So if your emotions feel heightened, If it feels like more intense than usual, if you're noticing patterns you can't ignore anymore, that's the whole point. That is your moment to take your emotional power back, not by dimming your fire, but by learning how to hold it. My dear Aries moons, if you want to personalize the manifestation of this energy, remember, you can always book a reading with me. The link to my website is down in the description box. But also, I would say please check the April predictions for your sign, for the Aries sign that I've already posted. You're going to get some instruction over there about how this can manifest for you. I wish you the best of luck, and I pray that you're going to have a wonderful month, one that is going to empower you emotionally in ways that you haven't even seen yourself. Take care. If you have Mercury in Aries, this is one of those moments where your mind, your voice, your decisions, and the way you process reality itself are all being activated in a way that feels impossible to ignore. April 2026 isn't subtle for you. It's actually direct, fast, and deeply personal. Because when Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon all are present in the sign of Aries, you're not just passing through. These planets are sitting right on your Mercury. And Mercury is how you think, how you speak, how you make decisions, how you interpret situations, how you respond in real time. This is your mental wiring. So, when all of this energy is concentrated here, it's not just about what's happening around you, it's about how you're processing everything that's happening. Now, let's be real about Mercury in Aries energy. Your mind moves fast. You don't sit around overanalyzing every detail. You trust your instincts, you say what you think, and you act on your ideas quickly. There's a sharpness to your thinking, a directness to your communication that can be refreshing, honest, and powerful. You don't sugarcoat things. You don't dance around the truth. You say it as it is. But that same speed can sometimes work against you. Because when your mind moves faster than your awareness, it can lead to impulsive decisions, speaking before thinking, or reacting mentally before you're fully understood a situation. And when that happens, it's easy to misunderstand others or be misunderstood yourself. And this April, well, this energy is here to refine all of that. Because Saturn is involved, and Saturn is going to slow your mind down just enough to ask, are you thinking with intention or just reacting? Are your decisions grounded or are they rushed? Saturn wants discipline in your thinking. It wants you to be precise, responsible, and deliberate with your words and your choices. At the same time, Neptune is here, and Neptune can bring confusion, intuition, imagination, and sometimes mental fog. You might find that things aren't as clear as you want them to be. Conversations might feel layered, situations might feel uncertain, and your usual ability to just know what to do might feel slightly off at times. But Neptune isn't here to confuse you. It's here to deepen your perception, to get you to listen beyond the surface. Then you add Mars to this mix, fueling your thoughts with urgency, passion, and sometimes frustration. This can feel like mental restlessness, like you need to act on an idea immediately. You don't like to actually have the time to wait. Mercury at the same time is present here, amplifying everything, your thoughts, your voice, your need to express yourself. And then the sun lights it all up, making your mental patterns impossible to ignore. And the new moon that we're also going to have, that's a reset in how you think, how you communicate, and how you make decisions. So, what does this energy feel like? For a lot of you, this is going to feel like your mind is on overdrive. Constant thoughts, constant realizations, constant urges to say something, to do something, to decide something. You might feel like you're having breakthroughs, maybe seeing things clearly, understanding situations in a new way. But at the same time, you might also feel moments of frustration when things don't move as quickly as your mind wants them to. You can find yourself speaking more directly than usual, sometimes in ways that are necessary, and sometimes in ways that might come off sharper than intended. You might feel less tolerant for miscommunication, for delays, for anything that feels inefficient or unclear. And here's the truth: this energy is not here to silence you, it's here to actually strengthen your voice. Because having Mercury in Aries isn't about being loud, it's about being clear. It's about knowing what you're saying, why you're saying it, and standing behind it with confidence and awareness. This April, you're being asked to create a space between your thoughts and your expression. Not to overthink, not to filter yourself to the point of inauthenticity, but to make sure that what you're saying is actually aligned what you actually mean. Because your words do carry a lot of power right now. You're also being asked to get intentional about your decisions. Not every idea needs immediate action. Not every thought needs to turn into a choice right away. Some things need a moment to develop, to settle, to become clear. And that pause, that's where your growth is. You might also notice patterns in how you communicate. Do you interrupt people? Do you jump to conclusions? Do you assume you already understand everything before answering? This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Because once you see it, you can shift it, you can make the change. This is also a powerful time for redefining how you use your voice, speaking up for yourself, expressing ideas you've been holding back, initiating conversations that need to happen, but doing it from a place of intention, not just impulse. So, what do you do with all of this energy? How do you handle it? Here are my little tips. First, you slow down your thinking just enough to observe it. You don't need to control every thought, but you do need to be aware of which ones you're choosing to act on. Observe your thought. Think about it. Where's it coming from? What is triggering you? And then you have control over that thought. And instead of reacting, now you can actually take the action or take no action at all because now you can understand the thought. Secondly, become intentional with your words. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this true? Is this necessary to say? Is this the right moment? Not to censor yourself, but to align your expression with more purpose. Third, you allow space for uncertainty. Neptune is going to challenge your need for immediate clarity, and that's okay. You don't need to have every answer right now. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is actually wait until something feels clear instead of forcing a decision. And finally, you channel your mental energy into something productive. Writing, creating, planning, initiating projects. This is powerful energy for starting something new as long as you stay grounded in it. April 2026 is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Mercury in Aries, one that still thinks quickly, still speaks boldly, still acts decisively, but also knows when to pause, when to listen, and when to refine. So if your mind feels louder than usual, if your words feel more powerful, if you're noticing patterns in how you think and communicate, it's definitely not random. This is your reset time. A chance to take control of your mind, of your voice, and your direction in a way that's not just fast, but also intentional. And that intention, that's what turns your thoughts into something that actually works for you instead of against you. My dear Mercury in Aries people, if you want to look at this energy in a more clear way, you have to refer to your personal chart because that will give you more information. If you want to book a reading with me, you can do that through the description box. You can take a look at my website and everything that I'm offering right now. But this is definitely going to be a memorable time for you, a time that you're going to refer to for a very long, long time. I wish you the best of luck and please take care. If you have Venus in Aries, this is one of those moments where your heart, your desires, your relationships, and even your sense of self worth are all being activated in a way that feels impossible to ignore. April 2026 isn't just another period of time for you, it's personal. Because when Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon all move through Aries, they're not just passing through your chart, they're sitting directly on your Venus. And Venus is not light energy. Venus is what you love, how you love, what you're attracted to, what you value, what you're wishing to fight for, and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. This is your relationship energy. This is your standards. This is your emotional and romantic instincts. So, when all of this is being activated at once, something is shifting at the core of how you connect to other people, but also to yourself. Now, let's be real about Venus in Aries. You love boldly. You don't do halfway emotions. When you want something or someone, you go after it. There's a directness to you, a passion, a spark that doesn't wait around for permission. You're attracted to excitement, to chemistry, to movement. You want to feel alive in your connections. You don't want anything stagnant, anything forced, anything that feels like it's dragging you down. But here's the other side of that energy. Sometimes it moves too fast. Sometimes it chases the spark without asking whether it can actually sustain the fire. Sometimes it reacts instead of reflects. And sometimes when something doesn't go the way that you want, it can trigger a lot of frustration, impulsive decisions, or walking away before fully understanding what's really happening. And this April, this energy is asking you to evolve that because Saturn is involved here, and Saturn is going to test your relationships, your standards, and your patterns in love. It's going to ask you, are you building something real or are you just chasing a feeling? Are your choices aligned with your long term values or are they driven by momentary desire? Saturn doesn't take away what's meant for you, but it will strip away what isn't stable. At the same time, Neptune is here, and Neptune can blur things. It can make you idealize someone, see potential instead of reality, or feel deeply drawn to something that isn't fully clear. It can also heighten your sensitivity in love, making you more open, more vulnerable, but also more prone to confusion if boundaries aren't strong. Then there's Mars here, Aries energy at full volume, amplifying your desires, your attraction, your need for action. This can feel like urgency in love, wanting answers now, wanting movement now, wanting clarity now. Mercury brings constant thinking and communication in your relationships, into your conversations, realizations, maybe even confrontations. The sun shines a light on everything, making your relationship patterns impossible to ignore. And the new moon here, that's a reset, a new beginning in how you love, what you choose, and what you accept. So, what does this energy actually feel like? For a lot of you, my dear Aries Venuses, it's going to feel like a wake up call. You might suddenly see a relationship more clearly than you did before. You might realize that something you were holding into doesn't actually align with who you are becoming. Or you might feel an intense pull towards something new, something exciting, but at the same time feel a sense of caution or hesitation that you're not used to. That push pull, that's the Saturn influence working on your Venus, including the presence of Neptune. For some of you, this is going to look like tests in relationships, situations where you're being asked to choose between immediate gratification or long term stability. Moments where you have to decide whether to stay and to work through something or to simply walk away because it no longer serves you. For others of you, this can be about self worth, realizing where you've been accepting less than you deserve, where you've been settling, chasing, or overextending your energy without receiving the same in return. And here's the truth, this energy is not here to block your love life, it's actually here to refine it. Because Venus in Aries is not meant to lose its fire, it's meant to learn how to direct it. You're being asked to slow down just enough to become aware of your patterns. Not to stop loving the way you do, but to actually understand it. To recognize when you're acting from genuine desire versus when you're reacting from impatience, fear, or ego. You're also being asked to get clear on your standards, not in a surface level way, but in a real, grounded way. What do you actually need in a relationship? What makes you feel secure, respected, and valued, not just excited? So, this April, you might find yourself setting boundaries more directly than ever before, saying no to things you used to tolerate, walking away from dynamics that feel one sided, or choosing to stay in something, but only if it's built on something real. And that's where your power is, because you're not losing anything by doing any of this. You're actually aligning yourself with something better and something bigger. This is also a time where you can redefine your relationship with yourself. Venus isn't just about other people, it's about how you value yourself. And with all this energy in Aries, this is about reclaiming your independence, your confidence, your ability to choose yourself without guilt. So, what do you do with all of this? First, you pause before acting on impulse, not to overthink, but to check in. So, ask yourself, is this something I truly want? Is this situation what I truly want for my future? Or is this something I just want right now? The distinction between these two things will matter way more than you think. Secondly, commit to things that are real. If something is stable, supportive, and aligned, don't run from it just because it doesn't feel chaotic or intense. And if something is inconsistent or unclear, don't chase it just because it feels exciting. Lastly, strengthen your boundaries. Neptune can definitely blur them, but Saturn heel will remind you why they truly matter. You don't have to over explain your needs. You don't have to justify your standards. You just have to honor them. And you have to trust your evolution because this is what this moment is actually about. It's not about taking your fire away, it's about maturing it, turning it into something that doesn't just burn bright for a moment, but something that lasts. April 2026 is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Venus in Aries. One that still loves boldly, still desires deeply, still moves with passion, but also knows when to stay, when to walk away, and when to wait. So if things feel intense in your love life, if you're seeing patterns you can't ignore, if you feel like you're being pushed to make different choices, that is definitely not random. That's your growth. And the way you respond to it, that's what defines the kind of love you will be experiencing next. My dear Venus, Aries and Venus people, if you want to look at this energy in a more personable way, you have to look at your chart. If you want to have a book to have a reading with me, you can hit the link in the description box and you can go through my website and see all the services that I'm offering. I wish you the best of luck during this month. It is going to definitely be life changing, especially when it comes to your relationships. Take care and good luck. If you have your sun in Aries, this is one of those moments where life is calling you forward in a way that feels undeniable. April 2026 is not just another chapter. It's a turning point in your identity, your direction, and the way you show up in the world. Because when Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon all transit through Aries, they're not just going to activate your chart, they are actually activating you. And your sun is not surface level energy. Your sun is who you are at your core. It's your identity, your sense of purpose, your vitality, your confidence, your will. This is your I am. So when this many planets gather around it, it's not subtle, it's a spotlight, it's illumination. It's a reset in how you define yourself and how you want to choose to move forward. Now, let's talk about Sun in Aries energy. You are wired to lead. You are wired to initiate, to take action, to go after what you want without waiting for approval. There's a natural confidence to you, even if you don't always feel it consciously. There's a drive to experience life directly, to carve your own path, to trust your instincts, and to figure things out as you go. You're not meant to follow, you're actually meant to start things. But here's the thing about Aries energy, it moves fast. It thrives on momentum, on passion, on that initial spark of excitement, and sometimes that can lead to acting before fully understanding the bigger picture. It can lead to starting something with intensity but struggling to sustain it over time. It can also create moments where your identity becomes tied to immediate action instead of long term direction. And this April, this energy is asking you to evolve that. Because Saturn is here and Saturn is going to test your sense of self. It's going to ask you, who are you when things slow down? Who are you when things get hard? Are you building an identity that can last, or are you constantly redefining yourself based on what feels exciting in the moment? Saturn doesn't take away your power, but it does ask you to ground it. At the same time, Neptune is here, and Neptune can blur your sense of identity. You might feel moments where you're not entirely sure who you are becoming or where the path ahead doesn't feel as clear as you like. You might feel pulled in different directions, or you might experience a sense of uncertainty that you're not used to. And I can definitely tell it's uncomfortable because you're not used to this kind of energy. You're used to knowing, you're used to acting, you're used to moving forward with confidence, even if you don't have all the details. But Neptune is asking you to sit with the unknown just long enough to discover something deeper. Now, when you add here the transiting Mars, which is also your ruling planet, it will amplify your drive, your urgency, your need to take action. Transiting Mercury also brings constant thoughts, decisions, conversations about your direction. The transiting Sun, which is over your natal Sun, everything is being illuminated. That's what the Sun is doing here. You can't ignore what's happening within you right now. And we're also going to have a new moon, which indicates a rebirth, a new beginning, and how you define yourself and where you're going. This is going to be crazy, crazy powerful for you. So, how can this energy feel like? It's definitely going to feel like a buildup of pressure to change. You might feel restless, like the version of yourself that you've been embodying is no longer enough. You might feel a strong desire to start something new, to step into a different identity, to move into a direction that feels more aligned with who you're becoming. But at the same time, you might also feel moments of doubt or uncertainty, questioning whether you're making the right choices, wondering if you're moving too fast or not fast enough, feeling pulled between the urge to act and the need to reflect. And that tension, that's where your growth is happening. Because this energy is not here to stop you, it's here to refine you. You're being asked to become more intentional about who you are, not just reacting to life, not just chasing what excites you in the moment, but to consciously choose your path, to choose your identity, to choose your direction with awareness. This is where a lot of Aries suns can level up. You're not losing your spontaneity. You're learning how to anchor it. You're not losing your independence. You're learning how to use it to build something meaningful and long term. You're not losing your fire. You're actually learning how to sustain it. You might also notice patterns in how you approach life. Do you jump into things without fully thinking them through? Do you get frustrated when things aren't immediate? Do you move on too quickly when something becomes challenging? Again, this is not about judgment, it's about awareness. Because once you see this energy, you can actually shift it. You can make the change. This is also a powerful time for stepping into leadership, but real leadership. Not just going first, but knowing where you're going. Not just acting quickly, but acting with purpose. Not just starting something, but actually committing to it. So, what is my advice to you under this energy? I would advise to slow down a little bit, just enough to get clear on your direction. Not to overthink, but just to align. Ask yourself, is this the person I want to become? Is this the career that I want? Is this what I want to be known into the world? Is this who I want to be? Or is everything just exciting right now and maybe not sustainable in the long run? Once you determine the difference between these two, That's your answer right there. You can be a lot of things, you can feel excited about a lot of things, but you have to pause, you have to slow down and reflect whether what you want is something that you really want to be doing for a long time, for 2 years, 5 years. If that version of yourself that you're trying to build is actually what you want in the long run, that's what you need to reflect on. And then my other advice would be to commit to whatever you decide. Commit to your growth. Saturn is asking you to build something real. And this is tied to your identity, to your goals, your path. That requires consistency, discipline, and patience. Once you put that in, Saturn is going to reward you and is going to give a leadership position to a lot of your Aries that is going to be long lasting. You also need to allow space for uncertainty without letting it stop you. Neptune is part of this process, don't forget. And it's okay if everything isn't fully clear yet. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to trust your next step. And I would also say, don't forget to take action, but intentional action. Not reacting, not rushing, but moving forward in a way that actually supports the future that you're trying to create. Because April 2026 is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Aries sun, one that leads, that still initiates, still takes risks, but also knows how to sustain, how to commit, and how to build something lasting. So if you feel the pressure, if you feel the pull to change, if you feel like something inside you is shifting, you're not imagining it. This is your moment, not to become someone completely different, but to become a more aligned, more intentional, more powerful version of who you already are. And the way you choose to show up now, that's what defines everything that's coming next for you. My dear Aries Suns, if you want to take a look at your chart, at your personal chart with me, you can do so through the link in the description box. I would love to do a reading for you. And then please remember to show some support for my work. You can like, subscribe, share this video with other Aries people that you think really need to listen to this message. I wish you the best of luck this month, and I'll see you on the next video. If you have Mars in Aries, this is one of those moments where your core energy, your drive, your ambition, your instincts, your anger, your passion is being activated in a way that feels impossible to ignore. April 2026 isn't subtle for you. It's direct, intense, and deeply personal. Because when Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon all move through Aries, they're not just passing through your chart. They're actually sitting right on your Mars. And Mars in Aries is not a quiet placement. This is your raw power. This is how you go after what you want, how you assert yourself, how you respond to challenges, how you handle conflict, and how you move through life when something matters to you. This is your fire at its purest form. So, when all of this energy is concentrated here, it's not just about feeling motivated, it's about being called to redefine how you use your power. Now, let's be real about Mars and Aries energy. You are naturally driven. You don't wait for permission. You don't sit around hoping things will happen. You make them happen. There's a boldness to you, a willingness to take risks, to initiate, to go first even when no one else is ready. You trust your instincts, and when you feel something strongly, you act on it. But that same fire can sometimes become impulsive. It can turn into impatience, frustration, or even anger when things don't move as quickly as you want. It can push you to act before fully thinking things through. And when that energy isn't directed, it can burn out just as quickly as it ignites. So this April, this energy is here to refine that. Because most importantly, Saturn is involved here, and Saturn is going to test your discipline, your consistency, and your ability to control your impulses. It's going to ask you, are you using your energy with intention, or are you scattering it? Are you building something long term, or are you chasing short bursts of motivation? Saturn doesn't want you to stop, it wants you to become strategic. At the same time, Neptune is here, and Neptune can blur your sense of direction. You might feel moments where your usual clarity of action feels uncertain. You might question your next move, feel unsure about where to put your energy, or feel pulled towards something that doesn't fully make sense yet. Neptune isn't here to weaken you. It's here to get you to move with awareness, not just instinct. Then you add the translating Mars here, your ruling energy being activated again at full volume. This amplifies everything: your drive, your ambition, your need to act, your frustration when blocked. Mercury brings constant mental activity at the same time, pushing you to think, to decide, to communicate quickly. The sun also lights everything up, making your actions and motivations impossible to ignore. And then we also have a new moon, which is the reset point of how you take action, how you assert yourself, and how you pursue what you want. So, how does this energy feel like for you? For a lot of you, it's going to feel like a surge of energy that you can't ignore. A need to move, to act, to change something very meaningful in your life. You might feel restless, like staying still is not an option, like something inside you is pushing you forward, even if you're not entirely sure what it's leading yet. But at the same time, you might feel also these moments of frustration when things don't move as quickly as you want to. Delays might feel more intense. Obstacles might feel more personal. Situations where you feel blocked could trigger anger or impatience more easily than usual. And here's the truth: this energy is not here to block you, it's here to train you. Because having Mars in Aries isn't just about having power, it's about learning how to use it. You're being asked to slow down just enough to direct your energy instead of letting it scatter. Not to stop moving, but to move with purpose. To recognize that not every urge needs to be acted on immediately, and not every obstacle is something you need to fight against. This is where a lot of your growth is happening. You're being asked to develop discipline without losing your fire, to stay consistent even when the initial excitement fades, to commit to something long enough to actually see through, instead of jumping to the next thing when it gets difficult. You might also notice patterns in how you handle conflict. Do you react immediately? Do you push harder when something resists you? Do you take things personally when they slow you down? Again, this isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Because once you see it, you can actually change the way how you respond. And that shift changes everything. This is also a powerful time for redefining your relationship with anger. Mars energy is not just about action, it's also about how you handle frustration. And this April, you might feel like that more strongly. But anger is not the problem. Uncontrolled anger is. When you learn how to channel that energy, it becomes focus, it becomes determination, it becomes the ability to push through challenges without losing yourself in the process. So, what is my advice to you under this energy? First, you move, but you move with intention. Physical activity, taking action on goals, initiating projects, this is not the time to stand still. But make sure that whatever you're putting energy to actually matters and you're going to stick with it for a very long time. Secondly, practice pausing before reacting, even if it's just for a moment. Even if it's just for a situation, a conversation, that pause that you give to yourself gives you control over how you respond instead of letting your impulses take over. Third, commit to something long term. Saturn here is not interested in quick wins. It's interested in lasting results. Choose something that matters to you and stick with it, even when it's not easy. And finally, you trust that this intensity actually has a purpose because this transit, this powerful transit, is not here randomly. It is a reset in how you use your energy, your power, your drive. A chance to become more focused, more intentional, more disciplined without losing the boldness that makes you who you are. April 2026 is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Mars in Aries, one that still acts quickly, still takes risks, still leads, but also know when to wait, when to strategize, and when to conserve energy. So, if you feel restless, if you feel driven, if you feel like something inside you is pushing you to move, that's not something to fight. That's your power asking to be directed. And the way you choose to use it, that's what determines where this energy is taking you next. My dear Mars and Aries people, remember that you always have to look at your personal chart to understand how this energy is going to reflect for you. If you want, you can always book a reading with me in the link in the description box. There's a link there to my website, and you can see all my services. This is going to be a very powerful month for you. I made this video because I feel like it could help some of you with this placement. Please take care during this month and make your dreams a reality. Strategize your energy here and start something that is going to be long lasting for you. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. If you have Jupiter in Aries, this is one of those moments where your growth, your beliefs, your confidence, and your sense of possibility are all being activated in a way that feels undeniable. April 2026 is not just another period of movement for you, it's expansion with direction. Because when transiting Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and the new moon all move through Aries, they're not just passing by in your chart, they're sitting right on your Jupiter. And Jupiter is where you grow, where you take risks, where you believe in something bigger than yourself. It's your optimism, your vision, your willingness to say yes to life and to trust that things will work out. This is the part of you that wants more experience, more opportunity, more expansion. So, when all of this energy is concentrated here, it's not just about feeling motivated, it's about feeling called to evolve the way you expand. Now, let's be real about Jupiter in Aries energy. You are naturally bold when it comes to growth. You don't wait for opportunities, you create them. You believe in taking chances, in moving forward even when there's uncertainty, in trusting that action will lead you somewhere meaningful. There's a fearless quality to how you pursue expansion. You don't overcomplicate things, you go for it. But that same energy can sometimes overextend itself. It can lead to sometimes taking on too much and too quickly, saying yes before fully thinking things through, or chasing growth without grounding it. It can create moments where you leap forward without considering sustainability. And this April, this energy here is to refine that because Saturn is involved here, and Saturn is going to challenge how you grow. It's going to ask you, are you expanding in a way that's sustainable, or are you just chasing momentum? Are your risks calculated, or are they impulsive? Saturn doesn't want to limit you. It wants to structure your expansion so that it actually lasts. At the same time, Neptune is here, and Neptune can blur your vision. You might feel inspired, imaginative, drawn towards something bigger, but maybe not entirely sure how it's going to come together. You might feel moments of doubt mixed with moments of deep belief. That's because Neptune is stretching your perception, asking you to trust your intuition while also staying grounded in reality. Then you add Mars here, fueling your desire to act, to take risks, to move forward quickly. Mercury, the other transiting planet, brings ideas, plans, decisions about your next steps. The sun illuminates everything, making your direction and your opportunities impossible to ignore. And then we also have the new moon. That's a new beginning in how you grow, what you pursue, and what you believe is possible for yourself. Do you understand how powerful this alignment is for you? How can this energy reflect for you, Jupiter in Aries people? For a lot of you, it's going to feel like a surge of possibility, like something is opening up, like there are opportunities in front of you, but also a sense that you need to choose carefully. You might feel inspired to start something new, to take a leap, to move into a direction that feels aligned with your growth. But at the same time, you might feel moments of hesitation or reality checks. Situations where you'll realize that not every opportunity is meant for you can show up as well. Maybe not every idea needs to be acted on immediately. Some paths may require more planning, more patience, more commitment that you're used to. And to be honest with you, this energy is not here to hold you back. It's actually here to make you focus. Because having Jupiter in Aries isn't just about saying yes, it's about knowing what to say yes to. You're being asked to become more intentional with your expansion, not to stop taking risks, but to take the right ones, to recognize that growth is not just about movement, it's about direction. This is where a lot of your evolution is happening. You're being asked to slow down just enough to evaluate your choices, to ask yourself, does this actually align with where I'm going, or does it just feel exciting right now? This distinction here matters because it determines whether your energy builds something lasting or burns out quickly. You might also notice patterns in how you pursue opportunities. Do you jump into things without fully thinking them through? Do you overcommit? Do you lose interest once the initial excitement fades? Again, this isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. Because once you see this energy, you can actually shift it to your benefit. And that shift changes everything. This is also a powerful time for redefining your beliefs about yourself. Jupiter isn't just external, it's also internal. It's what you believe you're capable of. And with all this energy in Aries, this is about reclaiming your confidence, but in a grounded and real way. Not just I can do anything, but I can build something meaningful that I'm willing to do the work for to sustain it type of way. So, what is my advice to you? I think during this time, you need to stay open to opportunities, but you don't say yes to everything. Choose what aligns with your long term vision, not just what makes you feel excited at the moment. Distinguishing between these two will make the entire difference about how this energy will reflect for you and what the next steps are going to be. I would also advise to commit to your growth. Remember, Saturn is here. Saturn is asking you to take your expansion seriously, to follow through, to stay consistent, to build something real out of the opportunities in front of you. I would also advise to trust your intuition, but you also ground it in reality. Yes, Neptune can inspire you, but it can also blur things. So take your time to make sure what you're pursuing is actually solid. And finally, my dear Jupiter in Aries people, take action, but intentional action. Not scattered, not rushed, but focused, directed, aligned with the future that you're trying to create. April 2026 is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Jupiter in Aries. One that still takes risks, still believes in possibility, still moves forward with courage, but also knows how to choose wisely, how to commit, and how to build something that lasts. So if you feel the pull towards growth, if you feel like something is opening up, if you feel like you're being asked to step into something bigger, it's definitely not random. It's not a coincidence. This is your expansion time. It's calling you forward. And the way how you're going to respond to it, that's what determines how far this energy can actually take you. My dear Jupiter in Aries, if you want me to take a look at your personal chart, you can book a reading with me in the description box. I would love to do a reading for you, but you can also show some support for my work if you can. That really means a lot to me. You can subscribe, and share this video with other people that have the same placements or other Aries placements that you think are going to really benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck during this month. I really hope that you're going to take the right decisions and initiations that can bring some powerful changes into your life. If you have Saturn in Aries, this is one of those moments in your life that you're going to remember for a very long time. You're undergoing your Saturn return. And Saturn here meets you at a very deep and personal level, and it doesn't do it gently. April 2026 is not just another transit for you, it's actually a confrontation, a breakthrough, an initiation all at once. Because not only Saturn is here, but also Neptune is here. And in the month of April, we're also going to have Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and also a new moon all moving through Aries. And this is not just activating your chart, they're activating your Saturn. And Saturn, as we know, is not light energy. Saturn is where you are tested, where you are refined, where your karma is, where you are asked to grow up, to step up, to take responsibility for your life. It's where things don't come easily at first, but where you can build something real, something lasting, something powerful over time. So, when all of this energy is concentrated here, this isn't just about movement, it's about transformation through pressure. Let's be real now for a minute about Saturn in Aries energy. This is a complex placement because Aries wants to move fast, act instinctively, take risks, and go after what he wants without hesitation. But Saturn slows that down. It creates hesitation, self doubt, fear of failure, or a sense that you have to work harder than others just to take action. So you might have experienced moment in your life already where you wanted to go for something, but something else held you back. Maybe a voice in your head questioning if you're ready, if you're capable, if it's the right move. Or situations where you had to learn the hard way how to stand up for yourself, how to assert your independence, how to take control of your direction. This could be some things that have already reflected in your life. Saturn in Aries is not about lacking courage, though. It's about learning how to build it. And this April, this energy intensely is bringing that lesson to the surface in a major way because Saturn is here in its full force asking you, are you ready to step into your authority? Not just in theory, but actually in action. Not just when it feels comfortable, but especially when it doesn't. At the same time, Neptune is here, and Neptune can blur your sense of direction. You might feel uncertain about your next steps, unsure about your identity, or even disconnected from your usual sense of drive. That can feel a little unsettling, especially when paired with Saturn's pressure. Now, if you add the transiting Mars, which is Aries energy at full volume, pushing you to act, to move, to take risks, Mars can bring the initiation here, the desire to finally move forward. Mercury is also transiting here in April, bringing constant thoughts and decisions about what to do next. The Sun illuminates everything, making your fears, your patterns, and your potential impossible to ignore. And then we also have a new moon here, which is the reset, a new beginning in how you take action, how you assert yourself, and how you step into your power. So, what does this energy actually feel like? For a lot of you, it's going to feel like pressure to move forward, but also resistance at the same time. Like part of you is ready to take action, ready to step into something new, ready to claim your space, but another part of you is holding you back, questioning, hesitating. And the tension, that's the work. Because this energy is not here to make things easy, it's here to make you stronger. You might find yourself being pushed into situations where you have to take the initiative, where you can't wait for someone else to lead, where you can't avoid making a decision, where you can't stay in your comfort zone anymore. You might also be confronted with your fears around this time, around failure, rejection, or not being good enough. Old patterns of holding back, second guessing yourself, or delaying action might also come up, but this time you're being asked to face them directly. And here's the truth, my dear Saturn and Aries people. This energy here is not here to stop you. This is here to free you. Because Saturn in Aries is ultimately about mastering your ability to act, not impulsively, not recklessly, but with confidence, with discipline, with structure, and self trust. You're being asked to redefine what courage means to you. Not just acting without fear, but acting despite the fear. Not just starting something, but committing to it even when it's hard. This is where your power is being built. You're being asked to take responsibility for your direction, to stop waiting for the right moment or for everything to feel perfect, to recognize that your growth comes from taking action even when you're unsure. You might also notice patterns in how you handle challenges. Do you avoid them? Do you delay action? Do you doubt yourself before even trying? Again, this is not about judgment, it's about awareness. Because once you see it, you can actually change it. And that change is everything. This is also a powerful time for stepping into leadership, but not in a loud or performative way, in a grounded, steady, consistent way, showing up for yourself, following through, building something real over time. So, what is my advice to you, my dear Saturn in Aries? First, remember to take action, but you need to take intentional action here. You don't need to rush, but you do need to move. Even small steps count. What matters is that you're showing up. My other advice would be to face your fears directly, not by waiting for them to disappear, but by moving forward anyway. That's how you build real confidence. You also need to commit to yourself. Remember, Saturn rewards consistency. It rewards effort. It rewards discipline. Whatever you start now has the potential to become something long term if you stick with it. And finally, trust that this pressure has a purpose because I promise you, this energy is not random. This is your initiation. April 2026 is asking you to step into a more evolved version of your Saturn in Aries, one that no longer hesitates, no longer holds back, no longer doubts its ability to act. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens through choice, through showing up, through deciding again and again that you are going to move forward even when it's uncomfortable. So if you feel the pressure, if you feel the resistance, if you feel like you're being pushed to step away, you should not do that. This is a moment that you should not run from something that you are afraid of. This is the moment where you should stop questioning whether you're ready and start proving to yourself that you actually are. My dear Saturn in Aries people, if you want me to take a look at your personal chart during this very, very potent energy, you can always book a reading with me in my website. And the link is in the description box. You can take a look at all the services that I'm offering right now. This is a very powerful time for you. That's why I made a video specifically for Aries placements. This time is a no joke. So I really pray that you're going to get the blessings that you need. And also you're going to take the action that is going to be life-changing for you. I wish you the best of luck and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.